Hello lovelies, welcome back to the channel. I am so unwell and so sleep deprived, but here we are. So today what I'm going to be doing is basically just sort of like testing out makeup that I have in mind that I want to do. Don't know when, eventually, because there's no reason to do it right now. But I don't have like a super clear idea in my head of what I want to do. I just kind of know the colors and a couple of elements. So I figured, hey, why not experiment and test it out and see how it goes, so that eventually when we can go outside I'll be able to do it better. And then while I'm doing that we can do like a little story time from something I don't think I ever told you guys. But first of all, it is time for a word from our sponsor. That's right, we have a sponsor for today's video and it is once again Shudder. Yay! So if you guys saw the previous videos you'll probably know the drill, but let me just catch you up.
Shudder.com is a streaming service that is entirely horror and thriller based content, so it is good news for all of you horror fans out there. Some of the recommendations for this month include One Cut of the Dead and Tigers Are Not Afraid, which won Best Movie and Best Horror Movie of 2019 according to Rotten Tomatoes. All of the content is human curated, so you are getting genuine horror and thriller content. For me tonight I am going to be watching Three from Hell, which is the newest in the series of the House of a Thousand Corpses Devil's Rejects kind of series, so I'm pretty excited about that. Shudder is $5.99 per month or $56.99 per year, but if you're interested in trying it out for 30 days free, I have a code that you guys can use. So that code is x.toxictears, and that's on shudder.com, and it'll get you 30 days free trial.
Right, on to the video. I'm not doing well. Okay, so the makeup, like what I'm doing today won't be the full version of the thing I have in mind, because it involves like having my hair shaved much shorter and actually like painting the entire sides of my head and then having it blend down and like neck stuff and all that. We're not going to do that today. We can't be bothered with that today, so I'm just going to focus on the stuff that's on the face. So it'll probably look a bit incomplete, but I'm just trying to figure things out really. I also got some new eyeshadows to try because I sat down to try to do this a week or two ago and I realized that of all my makeup palettes I did not have the greens that I wanted. So for one I got this from Sugar Pill and it's called Arsenic, and it is quite lovely. You can't really tell, but it actually has like a tiny hint of a shimmer, like sparkle, but it's not too strong. And whenever you like put this on, it is like exactly bruise colored. I forgot I put some on my hand and then looked down at my hand like 20 minutes later and I was like, what did I do? And I realized no, it's just eyeshadow. I don't know if you can see, but like it looks like a bruise. Ever so slightly shimmery bruise, but yeah, like that startled me. So the shimmer isn't super apparent when you blend it out like that. Yeah, had a bit of a shock because it was like half my hand and I was like, what the heck have I done? Because I am usually covered in bruises that I can't remember. And another thing I got was this little palette from Revolution. I got both of them on Beauty Bay and I think they were quite, well, the Sugar Pill not so much, but I think this palette was quite cheap. Actually, the mirror arrived not glued in. Well, it was glued in, but it's come out, but I don't really care, I can fix that. But yeah, I think this was quite cheap. And it has like a whole bunch of really bright colors, and specifically I'm mostly excited about these greens because this green is exactly the one that I was trying to get, but there's also a ton of other colors in here that I can already like pinpoint looks that I want to do with. Like there's the purple ones from when I'm in my purple phase. We've got a lovely yellow, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It's the Birds of Paradise palette, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, no, not battery running low. I am going to jump out the window. Can barely move. Not having a good time, guys, not one bit. Oh, getting sick of being inside. It's about to be me and Jake's 10-year anniversary. Wanted to do something like big and fun for that. That's not happening. Why is this so freaking bright? Yeah, overall just not having a very good time. I know that other people have it far worse, but you know, I think everyone's having a bit of a crap time right now and that's okay. Sort of pretend the rest of my head is painted and start from here. So yeah, the story time I was going to tell you was, I don't think I've told this story on the channel before, and I'm sorry if I have, but for some reason I completely forgot to mention it before. But back in, I think it must have been around September or something, me and my mum actually went for a trip to Donegall, which is a really beautiful place in Ireland, and it was complete and utter chaos, and I thought it would be fun to tell you guys some of the nonsense that went on. So we went down there. It's like a long ass drive to Donegall from here, but we went down for the night Drove the whole way up there. Absolutely beautiful drive. Some of the scenery that you pass during that drive is just beautiful. So that was fun. And we got there and we had a little swim in the ocean, which was very fun. My mum's dog was having none of it. He was absolutely refusing to go in the water. Even whenever I was pretending to drown, I was a little bit offended that he didn't even attempt to save me. But yeah, so the whole day was pretty fun. Nighttime came and like we made a little fire and stuff, and that's when like all the nonsense really started. So we basically just kind of like lay sort of near the fire on our backs just looking up at the stars, because it's like out in the middle of nowhere, so there's like no light pollution and you can see like every star, and it was absolutely beautiful. But God, I can't even remember what order things happened in, but there was just like a lot. First of all, we'd be watching shooting stars, which is very exciting. Every time you saw a shooting star, it was like, whoa! But like, as I said, we'd been like swimming in the ocean earlier that day and stuff, so, so we'd gotten changed into dry clothes, and I'd put like some of my clothes kind of on the windshield of the car, or like the window? You know, the front window? What's that? I don't know cars. Whatever that's called. I'd put my clothes, like I'd laid them flat on that to try like dry out in the sun during the day, and I'd just left them there and kind of forgot. And so it was like the car, the fire, then us, because it was in like a little bowl that I brought. So yeah, the car, the fire, and us. Not too close to the car, obviously. But we were lying there, and my mum kept thinking that she was seeing shooting stars, and I was like, no, I'm not seeing it. What are you talking about? Because like there'd been a few that I'd seen, but she kept seeing ones that I wasn't seeing. And then eventually I realized that what she was seeing was spark, because she was like closer to the fire. She was seeing like the occasional, why does this keep going so bright? She was seeing like occasional sparks from the fire, like, you know, kind of going out. Whenever we realized that, we were like already laughing our asses off. And I was like, look, anything that comes from that side of you, ignore it. It doesn't exist. Even if you see an alien coming at you. And as I said those words, a little gust of wind must have picked up, because it made the clothes that I'd laid on the car suddenly sit up like straight, like it looked like a figure just sitting up. Which of course, in the pitch blackness of the countryside, lit only by the dim glow of the fire, nearly gave me a fucking heart attack. So like I screamed, which made my mom scream, and then we realized what had happened, and we were fucking, like, we could not stop laughing. It was just so, like, the timing of it. I was like, even if you see an alien coming this way, and then just something just sits up from the darkness. So that already was enough to have us shook. Absolutely shook. So anyway, continued lying there, listening to music and stuff, and just like looking at the stars, having a chat. And then what was the next thing? Oh yeah, and then, so the whole clothes thing really startled me. But then later we're lying there, and all of a sudden, kind of like overhead, I can see like the shape of like a really big bird, to be fair, flying overhead. And I don't know what it was doing out at like 3 o'clock in the morning, but it was like a huge bird flew over us. This didn't really bother me, and I was just like, oh, a bird. My mum, for one, thought I was lying. She didn't think there would be a bird out. And two, obviously wasn't expecting anything, let alone anything that big. So when she looked up, she's like, what the fuck? And like shot up, which then scared me, because I was like, what the fuck is happening? It was literally just this fucking big like Dracula bird that like sailed off into a cave that was over near the other side of us and just disappeared, and we were like, okay. So again, lots of laughing, lots of shrieking, all a good time. Then the dog started being weird and like staring into the distance, into the darkness, and kind of growling, and we were like, And then possibly the strangest thing that happened was it's gonna sound like we were fucking high, but I swear this is just the way things were. We'd been lying, and there's like these hills to one side of us, like kind of like cliffy type things. And all of a sudden my mom looks over and goes, what the fuck is that? And I look over, and it's like a light had started to come over one of the hills, and at first I thought it was one of those like, you know, floating, you know, lanterns that you set off, but it was kind of too much of a white light. Like it looked more like a studio light or something, but you know, it was coming up over the hill, so I was like, oh, is that one of those lanterns? But then it was coming too fast, and and too big, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And like, I was like really concerned. So I thought someone was like coming over the hill holding a really big light or something. I was like, what the fuck is this? What is this? fucking moon. It was I've never seen the moon move quite that fast or be that big. It was actually mental. But it came up over the hill so quickly that it literally looked like a person was walking over the hill holding a huge light or something. It took me a solid few seconds to realize that it was the goddamn moon. And then we were like, we've been staring at the sky for the past like 3 hours. How did we realize that the moon was nowhere to be seen? It was just the strangest thing. The next night the moon was crazy as well, because on the drive back, like the next night, it was like, I think I mentioned that in one of my previous videos, I mentioned the moon being weird. It was like bigger than I had ever seen it and bright orange, like actually like bright orange. We were driving back and there was like bridges over the freeway, I guess you'd call it. And the way it was in the sky, at first I thought it was like a big orange sign on one of these bridges. And I was like, no, that's the moon. I had to like message my friend and be like, hey, can you see the moon right now? And is it crazy where you are? And then like he was like, oh my god, yeah, what the fuck? So yeah, the moon was just all kinds of weird that whatever day that was. So yeah, that was just absolutely crazy. But yeah, so the moon definitely freaked us out. And then we didn't bring a tent or anything because my mum had an idea of what we could do instead. And for some reason I didn't question it. She had an idea and I was like, yes, that sounds logical. Didn't question her brilliant decision-making skills at all. Her idea was that we were just gonna sleep in the car, in the boot of the car, which, you know, would probably be fine if you had like a Land Rover or a Jeep or something. My mom has a stupid little sporty car and it was me, her, and her fat dog. So I don't know how not once did it occur to me like, maybe this won't work. It did not. The three of us did not fit in well. My mom actually ended up just giving up and staying on the beach half the night. I sort of tried my best to sleep, but I was like, I kept waking up sort of panicking, not knowing where I was because I was like lying like sort of slightly upside down, if you know what I mean, and that was making me feel sick because I guess the stomach acid was like coming up, and it was just like, and it was so cold. I don't remember the last time I felt cold like that, but it was like unbearably cold. Whenever the dog first got in next to us, I was like, oh god no, this is gonna be a nightmare. But then it didn't take long for me to be like clinging to him for dear life because he was so warm, and when he eventually got bored and got up, I was like, no. So yeah, it was freezing. I was like asleep upside down. I kept waking up in a panic, not knowing where the hell I was or where my mum was. It was just, oh my god, most of the night was fun, but that part was not. Also, whenever we were trying to get into the boat in the first place, my mom had like dived in first and I was like struggling to get in around her, and then the dog again started staring into the darkness and growling, and I was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, that was making me panic, and that was making it even harder to get into the car, and I was like, shit. Trying to get in. Apparently later on that night when my mom was staying out on the beach, it turned out to be a fox. It was a fox that kept bothering the dog, so at least that was one spooky thing solved. But yeah, it was just a mad night of spooky bollocks. And it was so cold. I was not in high spirits the next day, let me tell you. I was like half dead. I didn't want to do anything. And it was like the worst kind of weather where it was like blinding sunlight, so you're like squinty the whole time, but also like blustery wind, so it's like it was just, I was agitated. It's a shame because the day before had been so nice, but that night had me like ready for murder, or the next day had me ready for murder. So yeah, that is the tale of the little trip that we took to Donegall. Very fun. Still don't understand what was going on with the moon that night. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen, but oh well. So yes, that was a little spooky story time. I really wish that I could talk to you guys about like what I've been up to, or like what I'm planning on doing soon. You know, do I have any fun plans? But you know, all of that is right out the freaking window. None of that is an option, and I am not handling it well, guys. I thought that I would be like doing like just fine during all of this quarantine nonsense because, you know, I don't really go out a whole lot anyway. I don't have a lot of friends. There's not a lot to do where I live. I work from home. I thought things wouldn't really change for me and I would be like a-okay. I'm struggling. I think just like having the option, like the hope that I might go out somewhere fun taken away, has kind of killed me. I've been trying to record this video for like 4 days now, and between just being way too sick, like I am not well, I've also just been too down to sit myself down in front of a camera. Like, it's been really, like, shockingly hard. I've just not felt able to do it at all. Finally managed today because I absolutely had to, but whew, I really like this color of green, which you can probably tell because I'm putting it absolutely everywhere. But yeah, just trying to sort of figure out what I want to do with this look. It could be a rough draft of a, like, you know, for a look that could end up being an inspo outfit. And it's sort of like, it's hard to say because it's kind of two songs inspire the same look, which makes sense because they're of a similar theme, but like literally like, they both just have the same feeling to me. And that is I Walked with a Zombie by Wednesday 13 and Living Dead Girl by Rob Zombie. As you can see, very similar theme. But yeah, it's weird because I Walked with a Zombie, like the whole video is like black, white, and red. But for me, that song is like this color. Yeah, those songs are that color to me. Red would also be suitable, but the first thing that comes to mind is like that kind of color of green. So I'm just kind of then also adding some other shades of green for the sake of, I don't know, variety. But yeah, so I might end up doing an inspo to outfit of it. But the thing is, like, I've been waiting for months to do more inspo to outfit videos, and what I've been waiting for is the good weather, because it has been raining all of the time. It has been absolutely freezing, and also it's, you know, gotten dark early, so I haven't had a lot of time to get out and do it, because, you know, like, I want to wear the outfits out for those videos. It's light again in the evenings. We finally have perfect blue skies and lovely sunny happy weather. Can't go outside. Oh, the world is kicking me in the butt right now, honestly. Like this meme, I found this meme and I like shrieked laughing because it is just so painfully true. That just sums up everything right now. I spent all winter so sad, just desperate for the good weather to come, and it's finally here, and it might as well not be because, you know, it's almost worse that it's here now. And like, I know people have been like, well, what about the garden? Unfortunately, the garden is like not nice right now. It is just gross and overgrown and full of like the dead plants from last year, and it's not like I can get a gardener out to fix it, and I don't have the equipment to fix it myself. Also, neighbors are out all the time, so there's like no privacy, especially because all the houses overlook our garden, and so it's only got a little bit of privacy like deeper in the summer when the tree out there grows its leaves, because then the sort of upper bit you can go and no one can see you from like their upper windows, but right now like every house can see everything, and I just feel like I'm like on display. Don't like it, so yeah, it's not fun. Plus my like elderly neighbors are out in their garden a lot, and I can't really be out right next to them. It's just, it's a whole lot. So yeah, I am the big sads, but trying my best. Oh god, but if videos are sparse over the next while, it's because I'm just trying to sleep off this illness, because I am dying. But it's been like this for like weeks now. Not loving it. It's just a cough, but it's like wearing me out because I'll be coughing just constantly all freaking day, and it just takes all of my energy, and by the time like nighttime comes, I'm like, I wish I was dead. And then, like I said, another huge bummer is the fact that it's our 10-year anniversary in just over a week, and we can't do anything for it. You know, like, yeah, we can stay in, like, watch a movie or something, but we do that all the time anyway. I kind of wanted, like, you know, 10 years to be like a big extravagant celebration, something really cool, something really fun, and it's just not an option. So see, I'd really love even just to, like, honestly, whenever I'm not dying and can get out of bed without it being a massive hassle, I'd love to just even get dressed up and just go out and take some pictures, just for the sake of like doing something, you know, that kind of fuels that somewhat creative desire. And like, there is a place near me that I could go where, like, even when there isn't a lockdown in place, there is no one there because it's a totally abandoned area, and even 90% of the walk there is always like completely not a single person out walking, because it's like, just, it's not a place you would really go for a walk. It's like in a big industrial complex where no one's really around, and it's very sort of remote. But I'm kind of too afraid to, in case people then like misunderstand and be like, oh, you went out just to take pictures, that's not social distancing, you're a bad person, and it's your fault that the virus will continue. When in reality, no, I wouldn't be near frickin' anyone. But you know, I can see people taking it that way anyway, so I'm like, I really just want to be outside for any reason at all. I'm too shaky. Oh my god, I'm just ruining this more and more. Oh no. Oh, I don't have the energy for bad eyebrow days. Do you know what we're gonna do for today? This is gonna be a no eyebrow look. Whenever I eventually do it for the full thing, there will probably be eyebrows, but I'm clearly not well enough today, so we're just gonna finish it without eyebrows, because honestly, that's fine too. I don't think I'm gonna like this, but I'm gonna try it anyway, because again, test run, just to sort of add to the whole zombie thing. I'm actually gonna try a dark red lip. It might end up just looking Christmassy and not work. I'll probably end up doing like black with green around the outside or something like that, but I just want to see. Why am I ruining everything today? Ruined it, okay. The only other thing I can think is, instead of the whole lip being red, do the sort of black blending down to a red thing that I did, like this thing. So it's a little less, but just a hint of it. But yeah, this look, it'll have a lot more decorations. Like I said, there's gonna be like neck stuff, there's gonna be like other little bits and pieces, there's gonna be lashes and lenses, but I just wanted to test out this element of it for today, so that the final thing will be a surprise whenever it eventually gets done, as if anyone cares. But in my head, that's the way it has to be. So yeah, I will end this look here. But yeah, thank you for spending some time with me. Here are my little ridiculous spooky adventure with my mom on the beach. Having a chat about quarantine and yeah, just experimenting with makeup with me. I'm sorry I couldn't do a good job today, but I am on my way to the grave. Appropriate since it's a zombie themed look, but there you have it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this absolute mess of a video. Again, just sometimes I feel like you have to just get something out rather than doing nothing, you know, like do something even if it's imperfect rather than just not doing it at all. So that's what I did today, and I just felt like sitting down and talking to you guys and letting you guys know, especially that yeah, if you don't see a lot of videos from me just for a little while, it's because I am dying, but I will be back when I am not. Also, please don't send anything to our mailing address right now, because the shop that it gets sent to is closed, because obviously, so we will not be able to get anything that's sent there. So yeah, please don't send anything. Thank you to anyone who has sent stuff over the past while though, like the last stuff I got. There have been so many really thoughtful, really sweet things, like between like different like handmade jewelry or dolls or like beautiful things from my wish list, like wands, just a lot of really sweet, wonderful things. I just want to let you guys know that I'm so grateful for all of that. I'm not always able to do like an unboxing video or anything, and like sometimes the thought of that just kind of puts me off, but I do, like, you know, I've got it all, and I genuinely really appreciate it, so thank you to anyone who has sent anything. And finally, before I go, if you could check out my Patreon, that would be amazing, because in the midst of all of this, things are stressful, so yeah, having a little bit of extra security over there would be wonderful. So link is down in the description. Obviously I understand if it's not possible because everyone's kind of all over the place right now, but if it is, yeah, do consider. As always, if you enjoyed this mess, give it a little thumbs up. Leave me a comment, let me know how you're dealing with the world being in bloody chaos right now, and I will see you in my next video. Bye lovelies. Jesus Christ.